We've got Tim Mueller, the sheriff of Linn County, and I'd just like to ask you how this letter went out. How did you start this thing? Because it's snowballed, certainly.
Snowballed is a really good way to put that. And originally, how I came to think about putting something out was I had several. Originally, how this came to be was I had several of my deputies myself. We'd been asked from our citizens about what my position was if there was some restrictive gun control that came out of Washington D.C. Which most of it was an outright ban. Any type of mandatory registration of any firearms, that type of thing. Those are some specific questions. And instead of, and it started out, I just told my deputies, well, tell them I said this, and I thought, well, maybe, after a few more of those questions came in, it was like maybe a good idea to get something out. And then, reading the paper and, watching the news, watching what was going on back with Vice President Biden's committee, it didn't seem like there was a lot of information coming out of that. I didn't really see a lot of law enforcement involved in it, and I sure didn't see any law enforcement from out west, especially the Pacific Northwest. So, and I figured, well, I'm elected by the folks of this county, and so I decided I'd write a letter to the Vice President and make our position known, make my position both personally and professionally known to him, and I'm a realist. I mean, I didn't think ever that he would even probably get the letter. I know how their security protocols work back there, and by the time out of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of letters, it's a crapshoot whether or not anybody is going to even look at that letter. So I sent it to him anyway. It just had to be said, and I said it. So I figured, the main thing was I wanted to do here locally was just get the information out to my own folks, and here in Linn County, the ones that have been asking the questions, to let them know where I stand on this. And I figured we'd get some local attention on it, but I didn't think it would go across the Pacific Ocean into Great Britain and Ireland and Germany and Belgium and everywhere else.
Let's just summarize. We put the letter out, we put it in the paper, it's online, just a nut graph. Just tell us what you would oppose in any executive or federal
out bans
action.
On any type of firearm.
Okay.
Anything that's legal currently. It's my professional and personal opinion that you cannot allow just a few people that have gone out and committed some of the most heinous atrocities that we've seen to have a knee-jerk reaction by politicians to offend the constitutional rights of citizens of this country, specifically my county, who have broken no laws.
Okay, let's go into some of what they're proposing. They're proposing a ban on military-style assault weapons and high-capacity ammunition magazines.
Why shouldn't those be legal for honest, responsible citizens? I oppose it.
Okay. There are other in law enforcement that says some of this stuff is only used for that purpose. That you're going to slaughter people with that sort of stuff.
They're entitled to their opinion.
Okay.
The deal about that is they can ban everything they want to, and unless you do away with some other pretty good amendments to the Constitution, how are you going to do that? Unlawful search and seizure is a pretty big thing in this country. So you're going to go and start kicking in Americans' doors that are honest citizens, taking away their guns because it looks like a military-style weapon?
So let's just say it passes Congress. It passes, and Obama signs it. And you're up against this deal here. You're going to pull back your people? Is that what you're saying? If they were to...
I don't have to enforce federal laws. If they won't let me enforce federal immigration laws, how can they expect me to enforce federal gun laws?
Okay. What about other elements of the package? It's a $500 million package, and we're just getting it out this morning, and I'll rattle off some of this. Ordering tougher penalties on people who lie on background checks and requiring federal agencies to make relevant date available to the federal background check system.
The folks that are lying on their application for a firearm, their 4473 or whatever it is, I support that 100%. I haven't had really an opportunity this morning to go through his all of his proposals. I did print them out,
Yeah.
and I did scan over them, and there's a lot of them on here that I agree with 100%.
I got 3 more bullet points, and maybe you have a few more. Ending limits that make it more difficult for the government to research gun violence, such as gathering data on guns that fall into criminal hands.
I'm not even sure what that means. I haven't had a chance to really look at it. I'm not even
Okay.
sure what that means. Gather
Okay.
data on it, and what are you going to accomplish? I'd have to look at that a little bit closer.
Giving schools flexibility to use federal grant money to improve school safety, such as hiring school resource officers.
I back that 100%. That's, the schools need to have that flexibility, and I tell you, we've been on hard times the last several years in this country, and everybody's budgets are suffering, law enforcement and schools.
Okay. Giving communities grants to keep guns away from people who shouldn't have them.
If those grants are used in the right context, if that goes to Linn County mental health, then I stand by that 100%.
Okay. Any others that caught your attention? That
I think you touched on the main ones. That
so it seems like that there are elements of this package that you support.
You
But
bet.
there are parts of it that you are adamantly opposed to.
Absolutely.
Okay.